Malam Nasiru El-Rufai should not be taken serious. Nigerians should not take Malam Nasiru El-Rufai serious. You said you knew about the president's Chicago certificate saga. You went ahead and supported him, yet he failed Nigerians, which means you are admitting before the public that you are an accomplice. You are complicit to whatever is happening in Nigeria. You supported evil, you supported illegality, and as such, you are a beneficiary of the same illegality. And when things turned against you, when your calculations and of course expectations never comfort, you now turn back to expose what? We all Nigerians are aware that you are only fighting for your vested interests and nothing more. You have no interest of Nigerians at heart. As far as Nigerians are concerned, they have understood, they knew your antecedents, they understand what you stood for, what you represent. So there is no amount of media propaganda, of course, you will do to change the mind of Nigerians. If you have told Nigerians that you are aware of the certificate saga of Ahmed Bola Tinubu in Chicago, and you went ahead to support him, then who are you? Where is that place of integrity? And what do you think you can do different now? How do you expect Nigerians to trust you? You are more worse than the same person you covered up. That is what you're saying. That even Nigerians cannot trust you with leadership positions or responsibilities if you can cheat and cover up such conspiracy or illegality or perceived fraud. Then it means you are not to be trusted. It is quite unfortunate that those who call themselves leaders are just opportunists seeking for relevance, to remain relevant within the corridor of power, and whenever they felt their political interest is being threatened, you see them come out and be ranting, gallivanting from one point to another in the name of seeking for relevance. Nigerians are not gullible people. Unfortunately, majority of them are. That I think it's high time for them to understand what is playing out, that these politicians are just uniting against the masses. That is just it. Whatever they are doing was gallivanting and the rest of the noise they are making is just because of their selfish interests. They don't have the interests of the Nigerians at heart. Otherwise, Nigeria wouldn't have been what it is today. So what is their antecedent? When you study their antecedent, you know that they are just doing collaboration to continue the subjugation of the masses. You can imagine a nation that is blessed, extremely blessed with natural resources that should have been the envy of the world. Today, Western powers, Europe, America, and the rest of them, Asia, are benefiting majorly, immensely from our natural deposits, while Nigerians are going hunger because of the conspiracy between the supposed leaders and the Western powers, because they have their own courts, so it doesn't matter to them the sufferings of Nigerians and the pain, the agony of Nigerians. Such a religious and ethnic boycott should not be given any chance, because already you know where it's going to. Kaduna is there to attest, just as some persons are now drawing support for Tinubu in Kaduna, southern Kaduna, because of what El-Rufai did to them. They said they are going to frustrate any effort El-Rufai is making to cover them up, that they are not for El-Rufai or whatever it stands for. Beside that, the truth is that the exodus, the defection of El-Rufai from APC is a setback for APC, whether they want to live in denial or not, or to accept the reality that the majority of the northern political oligarchs pulling away from the support of Tinubu means the end of Tinubu era, of course, political era, as far as 2027 is concerned, he will not win the North, because those who are in charge or who orchestrate the manipulation within the North are now turning against him. They are not standing with him. These are the people who made the Muslim ticket to fly. Otherwise, there was no justification for that. They supported the Muslim ticket because of their vested interest to protect their political interests and the rest of them. But unfortunately, you know, they were disappointed and eventually stabbed at the back, and they were just trying to make a U-turn, seeing how they can gallivant, circumvent issues, and see, of course, their permutations and probability, how they could oust Ahmed Bola Tinubu in office. Of course, Ahmed Bola Tinubu have decided to do the worst, because he eventually knew perhaps he may not be coming back 2027 in that Oval Office, regardless of whatever he's doing now. Virtually, in his recent appointment, these are Yorubas. It's a Yoruba Republic and Yoruba government. He have shown it with such brazen audacity, having no regard to anybody's feeling or whatever thought the person might have. He is not even minded. Even he did worse than what Buhari did. His own ethnic bigotry is well pronounced. Look at where the Accountant General of the Federation is a Yoruba man, the CBN governor is a Yoruba man, Finance Minister is a Yoruba man, and other sensitive, important issues, I mean, portfolios for starters, are being headed by the Yoruba. What does that mean? Does it mean that the Yorubas are the only ones who are enlightened or who can deliver? Unfortunately, they have repeatedly failed with such present impunity. They have not delivered anything. Just as Rufai said, yes, they failed Nigerians, and that was not a surprise for some persons and people like us. We much anticipated that. But then, those who are after their own personal and selfish interests, we are bent at holding Nigeria perpetually under bondage, supported it, and eventually today they are at the receiving end. Their own expectations was dashed, not met, and they thought they could pocket Ahmed Bola Tinubu up, probably because of the rumor that Tinubu was not fit. They might be having any alternative intentions that once Tinubu steps out of the way, eventually they will clinch into power, and the Northerner will grab power. But that never worked. The expectations was disappointed. Tinubu de Gidigba, they go anywhere, no shifting, and they were shocked and surprised. What they thought could have been the end, or perhaps a terminal sickness, was turned to be a blessing in disguise. And Tinubu is telling them, "I'm go nowhere. Old soldier never die." And to them, it was a very big shock and disappointment. But whatever may be the case, we don't dismiss the fact that Tinubu, of course, might be counting his days in that Asorok, because the conspiracy, the gang up is thickening, and with the North standing aloof, not giving him support, because eventually the Fulanese oligarchs, they have made up their mind that never will Tinubu return to Oval Office. And for those who might want to sing Tinubu's praises, is just to get what he need to offer, to share the money and get their own cuts, and eventually, when it matters most, they will betray him, they will disappoint him. If you doubt me, well, only time will prove you wrong. Of course, what is going now is political permutations and calculations. Tinubu may have been entangled, stuck somewhere, because his calculations could not pay off now. Maradona is not always a Maradona. There are times and seasons, of course, which you might be overtaken or overrun by events and circumstances. And what we are seeing here, Tinubu is saying, now if you lose the North that gave you that opportunity to manipulate or to become the president, and eventually already the North, you are losing your weight within the southern region, except for the Southwest. The South or the Eastern region is already out of place. So you must do a very serious homework to convince them to support you the second term. If they could not support you in the first instance, now it takes a more greater job for you to convince them now that you have, of course, told them that you are not for them and you have nothing to offer for them and to their region. Now it will take almost eternity to convince them at that. So the only chances you have perhaps might be the Southwest, who might go, might decide to stop. Of course, the vote will be divided and the rest of them. That shows that Tinubu might be considering another alternative, perhaps to split the Nigeria if he could not get the second term bid. Instead of allowing Rufai to laugh at him, he might possibly work for the disintegration of Nigeria. This is where it is heading to. And if eventually Mr. Trump, American president, and the American government decide to sanction Nigeria because of the recommendation of the U.S. Congress men report on the persecution and the violation of the Christians' right to religious expression and liberty, then that will compound the problem and the economic brouhahas within the Nigerian state that will engineer people to begin to pinch their tents against Tinubu because of failing to meet up with their expectations. So all these and many more, of course, factors in this will play out that might possibly limit the chances of Ahmed Bola Tinubu in securing the second term re-election bid, no matter, of course, his arrangement to perhaps change the electoral empire boss or the rest of them, or to put somebody that's loyal to him. Worst come to worst, people will revolt, reject such outcome, will not accept even the pronouncement of midnight, just as Yakubu did, and people tolerated it. Such might not be coming now, because the 50-50 lifeline have been used up, so nothing left, and Nigerians with this level of subjugation pressure as a result of economic mishaps, of course, would not want to take any other excuses or whatever, of course, play to the gallery. But whatever happens, let's see how that happens. The only way the North or the Fulani oligarchs might succeed is using a southern candidate that will further divide the vote of Ahmed Bola Tinubu to weaken his political strength within the South. And if that is being done, then it is a very straight way to Asorok, and of course a quick notice to Ahmed Bola Tinubu by the northern oligarchs who are not happy with his leadership style, or perhaps not being loyal to their caprices and dictates. Whatever happens, only time will reveal. Even as much as some persons are arguing that the Igbos or the Biafrans are on their way going, all these things will compound and give them an advantage at the end of the day, that perhaps Tinubu might not have any other alternative or option if he considers that chances very minimal or dim for him. He might hit, of course, that forbidden bridge. He might break it, and eventually that will be it for the good of the disintegration of Nigeria. But whatever happens, Tinubu should not take lightly the recent move by the northern oligarchs who says, you are done. We made you, and we are going to, of course, disengage you. We're going to retire you or fire you eventually comes 2027. Well, it's a very serious case, and let's watch out what plays out But the political calculations now does not favor Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Unless otherwise happens, Tinubu has a thin chances of returning back to the Oval Office. Let's have your own take regarding this development and what you think the way forward.